Hello, friends. Welcome back for season 7 of the Maker's Playbook podcast. And for the first time ever, you can watch this podcast episode. If you haven't heard, I have started a YouTube channel. Now, most of the content over there is going to be the tips and tricks that I continue to share about how to take better photos of your work. But every once in a while, I'm testing it out. Let me know what you think of it. We're going to have a few video versions of these podcast episodes. Now, don't worry if you are listening to this right now on your regular podcast app. You're not missing out on anything. You don't need to stop. Just keep on listening. But if you do prefer a visual experience, then just search the Maker's Playbook on YouTube and you should be able to find us. Speaking of YouTube, you know that feeling when somebody asks why your ceramic bowls cost $40 when they could get one at Target for like $8? And you're standing there and you're trying to explain about the hours of work and the quality of material and the time it takes to perfect your craft and so many other things. But somehow, no matter how you say it, it all comes out sounding kind of defensive, or like you're just justifying your prices to someone who might never actually understand the value anyway. Well, what if there was a way for potential customers to already understand all of that before they even ask the question? What happens when someone buys your work who already understands why handmade ceramics matter, why it's different, how much skill actually goes into throwing that simple looking bowl? Or what makes your glazing process so special? What would it feel like to attract buyers who already value what you do? People who see your $40 bowl and think, that's a great price, instead of, why does this cost so much? Today's conversation with Jamar Diggs, a YouTube consultant and the creator of the Low Lift Club, explores how makers can use YouTube not to become the next viral pottery influencer, but to create educated, confident buyers who understand the value of our work. Jamar helps service providers and product makers leverage YouTube as a strategic business tool rather than just another content platform demanding endless energy from us. So, whether you're considering YouTube or not doesn't actually matter that much when it comes to listening to this episode or watching this episode. Because while on the outside you will hear us say YouTube this or YouTube that, what we're actually really talking about here is how to think about the promotional material we create as a series of working assets, rather than a content treadmill, and most importantly, how to use the assets we're creating to attract people who are actively looking for what we make. Whether you want to make video content or not, whether you want to use YouTube or not, or whether you've tried various platforms without seeing any real business results, this conversation will shift how you think about creating any kind of content for your business. And speaking of seeing results, Jamar will be joining us in the community on September 23rd for a masterclass called How to Track What Matters Online. Because while we're talking about YouTube strategy in this particular conversation, the bigger question many of us face is, how do we actually know what's growing our business? Or to put it more simply, how do we know what the heck is working? Most makers, myself included, are throwing energy at Instagram, email lists, craft fairs, and website updates without really knowing which efforts are bringing in customers and which are just keeping us overly busy and on our screens, frankly. Jamar's masterclass will help you easily measure your efforts online so that you can make better decisions about where to spend your time and resources. Selfishly, I can't freaking wait. This is the class I've been waiting for myself. So, if you're as excited as I am about no longer throwing spaghetti at the wall to see what sticks, you know where to come join us. The conversation has already started kicking off and no doubt will continue well after the masterclass is over. But really, why not just come right now and join right away so you don't miss out for another minute? because as soon as you visit makersplaybook.com/community, you're going to see the heaps of additional resources and past masterclasses already available to you in our ever-growing archive. So yes, join us for this masterclass and so much more by visiting makersplaybook.com/community. And that was our brief word from our sponsor. The sponsor is the community. So let's just get on with it, learning all of this straight from Jamar and creating content that works for your business, not against your own time. Welcome to the Maker's Playbook, the show where we talk all about what it's really like to make a living from the things you make. I'm your host, seasoned entrepreneur of 15 years, Rebecca Ikiskara. I'm assuming you're going to want me to put this video on YouTube.
That would be great.
Can you imagine? Oh my God.
I'm like, Rebecca, what the hell?
Like, hello, I'm here with the YouTube expert, and we're putting an audio-only file on YouTube.
So sad.
I think that should just be the cold open. I think I should just, go straight there.
Go there.
That's it. All right. Well, in that case, Jamar, take it away. Introduce yourself.
Hey, y'all. My name is Jamar Diggs. I am a YouTube consultant, and I help service providers really leverage YouTube to get more clients. And when I say to get more clients, that is exactly what I mean. We're leveraging YouTube for business because the way that we use it is a lot different than how other content creators or influencers are using it. And so I really help my members and clients really cut through that and make it into an actual lead generator.
Absolutely. And I was introduced to your work through Allie Mason, who we both love and adore. And knowing her, what's the ethos, passion, philosophy, approach to Instagram in terms of let's focus on the data, let's actually make informed decisions. I knew right away. I basically saw your stuff from Allie, and then a month later, I got on the. So this is the funny thing. This is a spoiler. I'm spilling tea right at the beginning to all the people listening. There's a whole process for what you teach in YouTube, right? And so I get on your freebie and I'm getting the emails. I didn't open any of them. I knew I was going to join the club because you were a referral from Allie. That's it. That's all I needed.
I love that. I love that for me.
Right? They were all sitting in my inbox unread just as reminders to click the damn buy button.
I love this. You know what I'm saying? This is look, even if they don't open it, it's just staying top of mind of a little reminder. That actually is such a great message for everyone too.
Yep. Yep.
So good.
But did not disappoint, because what I love about what you're doing and why I wanted to have this conversation for everybody else to hear is so much out there. I think we all feel like we're constantly having to keep up with stuff and, I have to do this and I have to do this and I have to do this other thing. And when we only look at it from the perspective of what you seeing an influencer doing or somebody who's doing a completely different business model than you, yeah, of course it's a lot. That's impossible. But when people like you and Allie come in and say, hold on a second, what's your actual goal for doing this thing?
Yes.
Now, how do we do that?
That's what really matters. A lot of content is made to entertain and intrigue, right? And so it's really easy for us to fall down that rabbit hole, but then understand that, yes, that is the ethos of social media, right? We get that. We understand. But we are renting some space. And so since we're renting some space, we need to make some money. We need to make a profit. You know what I'm saying?
Rent is not cheap in
Rent is
2025.
cheap, honey. It is not cheap. And so when you do that, it's important to just take a beat and just think, okay, why am I doing this? Right? It's not just to get more views, get more likes, get more engagement. Why do you need more engagement? Why do you want the likes? Right? It's because you eventually want people to buy your things. Right? And so having that at the forefront is going to really change the way that you even approach all of marketing, really.
Yes, absolutely. And it's been a breath of fresh air for me because before working with Allie, the idea of Instagram was exhausting and overwhelming, and I wasn't seeing that much traction. Every once in a while, something would help a little bit, mostly because I'd have a guest here on the podcast who had a bigger audience than I did. That was about it,
Hey,
right? And then also same with you, like, the only people were telling me for so long, "It'd be awesome if you did YouTube, it'd be awesome if you did YouTube." I only took that dive when I found you to be like, "Okay, I can have a system for this." No
yeah,
one's gonna be surprised I'm talking about systems.
we love a systems girly.
But also, like, a contained amount of energy and time that we're spending on it and actually seeing some results.
Let me tell you, I feel like I am so lazy. I like to find the formula. I like to find the most efficient way to do the most. You know what I'm saying? And when I realize that I'm doing too much and I'm not getting the return that I really want, whether it's monetarily, energetically, just any, all of those things really mean a lot to me. And I got to figure out how to change it, how to optimize it. And one of the things I had realized really quickly and on some level by accident, I just knew that I needed to do more branding and more personal brand work like back in the day in 2017. And then something magical happened after I like quit my job full time to go full time in March of 2020, a week before the shutdown for the pandemic. Crazy. And
I'm gonna have we're coming back to this. Keep going.
I was, posting content on YouTube, and what happened was so magical when I saw someone watch my YouTube video, download my lead magnet, buy the tripwire, and then a day later they emailed me saying, "Hey, I am ready for social media coaching. Are you like available? Do you have any openings?" And I'm like, "Shit, I just quit my job. Yes, I have availability." You know what I'm saying?
Funny enough, I mean, I'm a little busy, but could you do tomorrow at 2 or Friday at 11?
How does that sound? I'm so booked. How is tonight?
I love that so much. I just wanna real quick explain a jargon word that people might be confused on. What do you mean by a tripwire?
Oh, thank you. Yes, a tripwire is basically just so you have like a freebie of some sort. Like maybe it's like for some people it may be like a little coupon. For others, it may be like a guide or something like that. When someone opts into that, they give you their email and name. They get taken to like some kind of like confirmation page or like maybe like a thank you page that says, "Thank you so much. Check your email for your thing." Well, instead of saying just that on that same page, you'll say, "Thank you, check your email for your thing, but before you leave, I got something sweet for you right here." And it's some kind of limited offer, something that isn't really available at that price point publicly. And so this is the only time that they will ever see it. And so it does cause like a bit of urgency, whether it's like a discount for something or it is like just something completely that they would never see again, right? But that's kind of like the way to kind of get them to buy something. And back in the day, people use tripwires to help offset the cost of ads. So when you would run ads, obviously that costs money, and then you'll send it to a freebie. Obviously, that's free. And so you would bank on or like kind of have some of the tripwire money offset some of the costs for the ads.
So essentially, you would break even, hopefully. In the best case scenario, you're breaking even on the cost of your ads, and then your ads are generating you're getting sales from the ultimate whatever the ultimate thing is.
Correct. Yep.
And I can already hear people thinking like, "Okay, I can understand how this works for Rebecca and Jamar. They teach online courses or whatever, memberships." But my brain's thinking there's ways to do this with I'm gonna say product. We're talking about art. It is still a product. I know that doesn't feel good, but that's what it is.
That's what it is.
You
Yeah.
know? It's still an object that we sell. I'm thinking like people have a hard time coming up with the kind of freebie giveaways for why does somebody want to give me their email address outside of a discount, which sometimes can work, and sometimes I'm like, let's not train people to
Mhm.
wait for a discount, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah, yeah.
something like free shipping for being on an email list,
Mhm.
or I talked about doing recipes because Francesco's an amazing cook. And so for our
Ooh.
ceramics business, we were focused on wanting to work with restaurants and, well, recipes wouldn't be good for restaurants because we want the chefs, right? But the home cooks who are interested.
Yes.
I'm picturing Chef Kyle right now being like, I don't need your focaccia
What's
recipe.
happening? No.
Right? The response back is like, this is wrong. Let me help you improve this.
Yes.
But, something that connects to reason I mention recipes is it connects back to our brand. It connects back
Mhm.
to why we're making the ceramics in the first place. So it might be, I don't know, your favorite wildflower seeds that are easy to throw in the back garden for where you live if you're focused on, partnering with local businesses or a local audience or something. I don't know.
So obviously, yes, the easiest way and low hanging fruit is the like, free shipping or like the first time customer discount type of thing, you know?
Or early access for people who are doing shop updates, now that I think about this. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah. That's so smart. Yeah. But really what you're doing, like when you're selling like products, right? Most of the time there's a feeling or there's a lifestyle associated to that. And so you're really well, the best way to brand it is to lean into like what is the lifestyle that the buyer is having? What is the lifestyle that the buyer has or is wanting or is like inspired to have? And how can you intersect that with your own brand's like personality, mission, values, your own aesthetic, right? And then you start finding some opportunities, right? To where it may end up being like recipes, right? It may end up being certain guides or like maybe it's like a lookbook of certain ways for you to use this stuff, right?
Oh, setting the perfect table? Like links to your favorite fabric napkins from your local store that you're the other independent artist that you love, or silverware or glassware or oh, I'm like, put
Yeah.
this down on my list of things I
Yeah,
need to
because
do for us.
yes, shoot, yeah, because even you mentioning for like shops that do like new stuff all the time, like yes, obviously you want to be the first to be notified whenever we have new limited arrivals,
Mhm.
right? Duh, that's perfect. Just like how people when something's out of stock, people say, you know what, sign me up for that alert for like when it comes back into stock. It's kind of the same thing, right? Especially if you've built that kind of connection with your audience to where they're like, "Oh, yeah, no, I like what's happening. I wanna know. I wanna continue to buy, and I want to make sure that you get these things." And it doesn't even have to be the whole shop. You could make it over, like, these limited items that you make to where you're, like, creating some type of interest around this special release, right? And, like, maybe every couple, like, weeks or months, you have special releases, and that is the pool that you have to get people up onto your email list and to have this little tripwire action happening.
Okay, my urge is to immediately just dive into the questions we have from the community because it's exactly what we're already talking about. However, before I get there, how the heck did you mentioned going full time in March of 2020,
Mhm.
week before lockdown. So I want to come back a few steps for people for them to understand how the heck you know all of this.
Mhm.
Why should we even be listening to you as a random person on the internet? Because we
Yes.
both know there's plenty of people out there with
Yes, that's so
less
true.
credentials.
That's so true. So I have a corporate marketing background. So I started like my first big boy job was working at homes.com and for rent.com, and I was on the client services side and I was managing over 250 real estate agents accounts. It was crazy, it was wild, and I was always pushing myself to like lead the content strategy there because we were living in a world where the content was more about quantity over quality. And then as after 20, like that's when I did it in 2014. After that time, stuff started becoming more and more about the quality and like we were on the cusp of that, but, like, the company was selling the service like it was, like, kind of, set it and forget it, and that's not what social media was at that time, and so I was getting a lot of angry real estate agents or just confused real estate agents saying, "I'm paying all this money for y'all to post onto my account, but, like, nothing's happening." And I'm like, "Well, yeah, you gotta post too, boo." And there I was like, "Well, yeah, like, I mean, I'm sorry, our Better Homes and Garden articles are not gonna do it for you." You know what I'm saying? Like, it was and so but, like, I was kind of trying to be like the rebel a little bit, and not to talk bad about, like, it's just kind of what the industry was at that time,
Yeah.
right? Like, real estate agents didn't have the time. This company was like, "Well, we'll do something for you," right? And it was just kind of that, but then as the market started changing, you needed to add more personality, more like you couldn't separate yourself from it anymore, right? And I think that was something that I had realized very quickly, and I was trying to find ways to get the brands to I was trying my hardest, right? Either way, I got my outlet to start my business instead because I was like, "I can't help these real estate agents because this is not my job is very limited." And so I decided to start my own business on the side. And through all of this stuff, like fast forward, I started doing YouTube social media management, charging $200 an hour. I'm sorry, a month. And I was like,
Oh,
"This sucks."
oh,
And I was like, "This sucks. I don't like it." I was like, "I'm going" and then in 2017, I was like, "I'm gonna be a coach instead because they don't do anything." And and I was wrong because I it was way harder. But so but during that time, I also was working at a mortgage company too, where I was also leading their YouTube and digital strategy there. And around 2017, because I was like, "Well, I'm a coach now," right? So I got to show people that I know what I'm talking about because when I was managing, like, I just did it, and they were like, "Yeah, thank you," right? But I needed to show them that I was an expert in what I was talking about, and so that's really what kind of propelled me into that, and then as I was building the brand, the pandemic came and, blew down the house, you know what I'm saying? And I was out on my own. Luckily, I had the option to leave, and it was, like, the best decision ever because they offered me a 6-month severance, and it was because they were doing, like, changes in the company, and I was there for, like, 5 years, and they're like, "Hey, if you've been here for a while and you're kinda burnt out from our changes, we can make some shake for you." And I was like, "How much shaking we doing? Because I'm burnt out. Y'all killing me right now." You know what I'm saying? And, they're like, 6 months. I said, "Great, I'll take it." And I was like and I used that to just start going full time.
the irony of a mortgage company in 2020 needing to, like, restructure. I'm like, "They were out here freaking crushing it," but that's a different podcast.
Mhm.
That's a different subject. I'm gonna stay in my lane and stay the course here.
I know. But since then, when that happened, like how I said earlier, like that magical moment happened, I was the only one that like knew it felt like. And so it got to a point to where I was tired of teaching social media tips like Instagram and all that crap. And I actually liked posting on YouTube about Instagram and I was getting clients like that. And I was like, okay, well, maybe Instagram isn't the thing that I really want to do. Maybe it's YouTube. Like I want to teach people how to have the same thing happen for them because I'm basically like have like taken all of the stuff that I learned from corporate marketing and I'm kind of like applying it to a smaller business model. And it was so amazing to see how all those moving parts like link together because when you're in corporate, you have one job and you're just part of the like help you do your part in that funnel, right? You don't really get to see the full funnel. But when you own your own business and you do your own marketing, you got to see everything, and it felt so good. And it felt very easy. It was from a video that I did months ago, and I was like, "Oh, okay. Okay, so do I have to work more or what?" Like, so I was like, "How do I keep this going?" I was like, "Okay, what's happening?" But yeah, and so then I started like digging deeper into like what was happening and like why did my stuff work versus like So then I started like kind of researching that and digging more into how did I do it and how can I make it as easy as possible for other business owners to do it? And what ended up happening was a lot of the stuff that I was teaching is very opposite than what some of the other YouTube coaches teach because they teach from the influencer mind, like the AdSense perspective, and I teach on the we want to sell our services perspective
Yeah.
or products.
Which is a huge I wanna pause this right there because it is a huge shift from, AdSense being the behind the scenes piece that gets people paid for the views that they get,
Mhm.
right? So, the most popular example for all of the Potters listening is Florian Gatsby, right? He's got I don't know how many millions of people that follow him across the internet, and so when he posts a video on YouTube, he's gonna get paid some amount of money on YouTube.
Mhm.
Meanwhile, I got a receipt from Instagram for 3 cents recently for the reels that I made. Wow.
Don't spend that all in one place, girl.
I mean, so glad I quit making 5 figures in weddings per wedding to get paid 3 cents from Instagram. But because that's not my goal, it's a
Yeah.
completely different strategy than someone like Florian, than someone like Hope Lemansky, who's a good friend of mine, who's
Yeah.
doing this at a scale that I don't wanna have 1,000 people in the community. That is not my goal at
Yeah.
all. It's not the type of business I wanna have. It's not, now 200 would be cool. That'd be great. Come join. But, like, I'm not trying to have a quantity thing out here, and so the approach you're talking about makes more sense, and I think also makes more sense not just for education, but to keep coming back to the fact that this works for people making things with their hands
Mhm.
because you're not trying to sell 1,000 mugs a month.
No, no, and the thing that I love about YouTube is that it's not only about attracting, like, just any old body to it's not just about the visibility aspect and, like, just getting people to buy something. It's really, creating these people that are educated and confident buyers, right? That is so important to me, and that's why I have it set up in this way because, like, there are things that, like, make a buying experience, like, feel worth it to them, to people, right? The people that have great buying experiences with you, they buy again. They tell other people, right? If you help them, if however way they find you, however way they interact with you is very, very important. And I just think that that's just such a great thing, even when it comes to, like, the makers here as well.
I don't think this point can be hammered through shouted from a mountaintop enough because what I think people might not be thinking through is, like, when you said creating educated buyers, my brain for people who are gonna watch this episode, since we will have a video on YouTube, my brain literally, like, lit up like a Christmas tree because what that means is it means you're bringing in somebody who values what you do. So it's not like I think a lot of times when we think about, I wanna be able to charge I want people to buy things that can afford what I'm selling, they immediately think about, going to and we've done this, and spoiler, it didn't work, going to a ritzy neighborhood where that's hosting an art festival, right? And saying like, "Oh, well, I can look up the public records of what the socioeconomic bracket of this area is, so they can clearly afford a $50 mug or a $70 mug or whatever it is. So this is gonna be a good fit. The people who live here can afford what I'm selling because they have enough money." Well, just because they have a Gucci purse doesn't mean they wanna spend even $35 on a vase if they don't value it, right? So what you're talking about with educated buyers is, like, finding the people that, regardless of how much money they earn, value what you do, so the price is less of a problem, but also then maybe communicate the same way you do, so
Mhm.
customer service is easier
Yes.
if there's any kind of conflict or mismatch, like, they already understand, they already know what to expect from you before that credit card even goes through, so then you have less troublesome customer service emails that keep you up at night. you have less returns, you have, like you said, you have more referrals.
It just makes it so much easier because whenever someone is looking to buy anything, I know it's so easy for us to jump into well, can they afford this? And one thing that I have literally taught myself is to get out of people's wallets. Okay? Because it may be harder for, like, the makers to kind of separate them, it can be very, very hard for that. That's something that we had to learn because at the end of the day, there's so many other objections in the world than just money. Someone could be making $15 an hour and will still buy your vase because they value it, because that may be the thing that they want to invest their money into, and that has nothing to do with you. You did your job. Right? You were discovered by them. You did everything that you needed to do to make sure that they knew that this product was the right product for them. So, it's not always about how much money someone like has, just like how you're saying. And so, but so one thing that like the videos do up on YouTube too is like they help people understand the value of your product. Okay. And they may understand how it's made, how it can be used, different ways for it to be used. Like, for example, oh, wait, what were you about to say?
I have to you're gonna love this because people might think this sounds silly, right? Like, it's a bowl. Of course people know how to use it, but anyone who has stood in a booth in a market
Hmm.
more than once, because maybe it won't happen the first time you do it, but I promise you it will happen, and there are plenty of other potters who are gonna back me up on this. The number of times a person comes into the booth, picks up, and I'm not joking, a bowl. Like, I'm not talking a bud vase that they're wondering if you can pour sake out of or not, or, other things. I'm talking a bowl. We all like a cereal bowl or a whatever, and people pick it up and go, "So what's this for?"
Oh, wow.
I'm not kidding, and I've got receipts. There's a conversation happened in the community a few months ago about this. This happens. It sounds real stupid, but
But, after you think about it, right? So now I'm gonna, cause now you just gave me some great ammo here, because what's really cool is I'm thinking about how I buy and how I have a lot of questions around things, right? Especially if it's an online decision. Okay. This may be a bowl, but how big is this damn bowl? What are the dimensions of this bowl? Do I even know numbers? Probably not. Can I put a salad in it? Can I do a fruit bowl? Can it like a punch bowl? Like, what are we talking about here? What can be fit into it? How can I utilize this bowl?
like,
Right.
how
And
much
so
popcorn
how
can I
much?
eat out of this? The whole bag? One of those tiny little 100-calorie bags? Like, what are we talking about?
Right. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? People want to know that kind of stuff and they don't really know. They don't really know. And so those questions come up because that's what happens whenever someone's getting ready to take out their card to pay for something. They're trying to figure out, is this really what I need?
Mm.
Is this the thing that's going to help me have that better experience eating my popcorn? I just bought which this is nothing with like making, but I literally bought a grocery buggy, like a grocery thing, like wagon, so that I could take my groceries upstairs through the elevator. Okay. And there's so many different dimensions there. Thank God they had these pictures showing beach balls and shit up in it, because 'cause I'm like, "Thank God," because 'cause I'm, like, trying to figure out how big this thing is,
Like,
how
let me see the gallon of milk at the bottom to
I
know
was
if I can put 2 bottles of wine next to it.
you know what I'm saying? Like, how sturdy are you? You so because you wanna know, and so it's all these different questions that happen in people's heads, and so seeing it visually and seeing these things happen is so important and can do wonders for sales.
I think it also thinking through the visual side of it easily ties back to the question that we all get asked that's so difficult to answer for makers specifically is, why does it cost this much? And if you're showing every single step that you're going through,
Mhm.
instead of having to write something, which for me always feels a little defensive and a little bit awkward because you're like, what do you mean? Why does it cost so much? Like you don't want to come across like that, but you also don't want to downplay it. And so to be able to have a visual representation before anybody asks that question for them to see, oh my God, like it took this many steps to get here.
Mhm. This is how it's made. Okay, I didn't think about that, right? And that can look differently, right? It just depends on how creative you wanna be and how much time you have, right?
Mm.
Because sure, you could maybe if you wanted to make a whole damn vlog series about it, you know what I'm saying? Or if you wanted to do a nice old like, set a camera up just like how you did, right? Of just showing like, "Look at me, this is what I'm doing. I'm talking about all like all these things, that could be another way, right? Because people do wanna see behind the scenes sometimes, especially with you, like, making things and, like so, yeah, I think that that really, really does help elevate the value and show people how much blood, sweat, and tears you put into your art.
Absolutely. And actually, you just brought up a really great point because I'm talking about all of these ideas and then immediately thinking like, "Oh my god, I don't wanna actually the energy level to produce all of that." Like, we just talked about this on in my one-on-one with you that spoiler, I don't actually like taking product photos. Like, that's not my happy place. I know how to do it, but the reason I teach people how to be efficient with it is because I don't wanna spend that much time doing it myself. Like,
See?
I'm not, like, doing creative photo shoots that people don't see on the internet. Like, no, I'm playing with the dog in the backyard or probably, frankly, staining more wood for this frickin' house whose projects never end. But, that's less fun. So, to your point, I'd love to, like, get into that a little bit more because what I love about the program you teach, it is called the Low Lift Club. So these recommendations are not about, like, a multi-camera view spliced together over the course of multiple weeks of work to produce something that people are used to seeing Florian post online, right?
Yeah. No, right, and so to my like, already I'm thinking about, like, let's just say it's like pottery, right?
Mhm.
Let's just say that. I immediately am thinking of, like, how it's made, what is going on, right? And one video could be you just literally showing, "We are about to pack X amount or make X amount of whatevers," and you can literally just, like, document it, you know what I'm saying? And that's just one of types of videos, right? So, that's just, like, you just showing the behind the scenes, you documenting it. They can be short iPhone clips for all I care, and you just kinda stitch them all together inside iMovie if you want, you know? Like, just that, and people will be willing to watch it, especially if you are just kind of making sure that, like, you're the value here is them, like, you talking about, like, your process and how much thought goes into it and, like, maybe even about the customer that wants it or, something like that. It's really, really cool, and so I think it reminds me of Oats Overnight. I think I saw a an ad or something, and what they did was they got a package slip from someone that just ordered their thing, and they were just packing the order, right? And then they said, And you know what? Since this person has been with us or like ordered from us so many times, we're gonna add in this or whatever, right?" And I guess that's not showing the crazy behind the scenes that I just said, but like that was just that's such a that it was such a great thing that made me, like, see them stand out, to see how much they cared about their people, to where it's like, "Shit, that means that I may get something if I continue to buy," I'm like, "Damn, you do care about us, okay? I'm here for that."
It's like now I'm picturing you as that kid who dumped out the whole box of cereal to find the toy at the beginning.
Actually, yeah, I was interested in the toy. I was interested in seeing what it would be, okay?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that, like, that's just one way to look at it, and so, one thing that I would say is, like, don't think about if you want inspiration, cool, look out there, but think about what is maybe just one step in your process that you don't mind talking about, or what is one step in your process that you are just the most passionate about?
Hmm.
Talk about that. Show them that for starting out, right? And I'm so sure that's gonna generate some questions.
It actually makes me think also about the double benefit of assets like these, assets being videos that you're creating, because then the next time you get an email with a question about, how big is it?
Mhm.
Again, instead of trying to describe something or write something from scratch, you're just going over, you're grabbing a link and you're sending it and it's done. And that you can use time and time again over and over. So, like, yes, there's a bit of a lift on the front end to create this, but then you have it and you have it forever.
Yes, that's, like, the greatest thing because and that's another thing that it helps your full I always I love saying this, and I would not stop saying it, is that YouTube helps your entire customer life cycle, whether they are looking for someone, like, for a product, they're using a product, or they're trying to see what else they can buy with the product. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? Like, you have all of those videos are assets to you because you're gonna be showing some aspect of it in the future, right? It's just like I just feel like it's just so many ways to attract and get repeat buyers. Think about whenever you have a new product, you're gonna do a video about it. You're gonna show how it's made. You're gonna interest people who are already in your community that have already bought things from you, and they're like, "Oh my god, something new is there. Love that." And if someone's looking for something, if they're like new customers and they have never met you before, maybe they were searching for that thing, and finally you have that thing, and now they wanna buy that thing. Right?
mhm,
And so
mhm.
it's such a great opportunity, like, just like how you said, it's all an asset.
Since you mentioned kind of that lifestyle, let's talk a little bit about the difference in YouTube compared to maybe Instagram or somewhere else when it comes to either the immediate response or, like you said in the beginning, that first person who saw the video, downloaded the freebie, bought the small item, the tripwire at the beginning, and then immediately emailed you a day later to say, "Hey, I'm ready for coaching." Was that a video that was recent, or was it, a video you had posted 3 months ago and then they were still
It was
finding it?
oh, yeah, it was an old video. It was a video that I probably had made at that time. If this happened in 2020, I think I made that video in maybe 2018 or 2017. Yeah, and so it was an old video. It wa
I'm so excited about this for myself selfishly. I'm like, "Yes."
so
Everything I'm doing right now. Alright,
yeah,
okay.
like, it will accumulate. So when it comes to YouTube, what I really like is that if you lean into, like, the searchability of YouTube, you're going to attract people who are actively looking for your thing, for what you do. Right? And that's kinda why I think that it's so important to add in those videos of, like, how to use a thing, just how to use these things, like, so let's just say if you have a smoothie bowl or, like, a smoothie whatever, right? People are gonna be looking for, like, smoothie recipes, different styles of whatever you wanna do, you know what I'm saying? And you're gonna have information about that, and you're gonna be using and you're gonna be positioning your product. Think about your videos as product positioning in some kind of capacity. That's because it's you're trying to create a brand around it. I mean, it is a brand. You know what I'm saying? And a brand there's certain elements to it. And so people aren't just being like, I need a bowl. Why do they want your bowl? Because your bowl costs more than the one at Walmart. So we need to make this one fit into their lifestyle. The one in Walmart is just plain and white and just basic. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Oh, yeah, I mean, for those of us that make functional work, it's like I've been to parties at ceramic studios that had paper plates,
Mhm.
right? So even we're our own worst enemy because 'cause we're out here for a group party buying paper plates,
Same.
and I'm thinking, I think we probably knew a few people who could have had some so, there's a million ways to solve the quote unquote "problem," if you will,
Mhm.
because people talk in marketing all the time about what problem do you solve. But if we're only thinking on kind of that level of, like, I need something to eat off of, there's paper, there's plastic, there's ceramic. Sometimes I see cement now on Etsy.
Oh.
I have questions, but I guess it's an option. I don't know why, but whatever. There's glass. There's a million things. So what is it what's making someone choose ceramic in the first place, and then what's making them choose your ceramic specifically? Are they looking for a specific color of blue? Are they looking for something that's got a certain design or mid-century modern or I don't know. We could go
Oh my
on
god.
forever.
And even just those categories that you just said, it had my brain just going, right? Like, why would someone wanna choose the ceramic option, right? Immediately, I'm thinking, "Oh my god, educational series on ceramic ware, on ceramic products," you know what I'm saying? Because 9 times out of 10, someone's gonna be searching for, like, is ceramics good to eat off of? Like, is it healthy? Is
Mhm.
it safe? Is it whatever, right?
Yep. Lead-free, microwave safe, dishwasher safe,
Mhm.
lead, whatever else. Yep.
Then someone may want to find a certain style of like ceramic ware, right? And so if you only specialize in one style, great. You're gonna literally that may end up being like your star keyword there. You know what I'm saying? Just in different ways or whatever. Or if you have collections, you're gonna show it, and you may end up adding in the style of ceramic you made. And so there's so many different ways to kind of interject the search function into things for people that are like searching for like an actual item and how to use an item, right? But then also part of other ways of discoverability, it would be again like that whole like lifestyle thing, like getting people to care
Mhm.
about your brand. And so those are gonna be things that kinda ripple off. That's what I call a type of anchor video. That's gonna be the bulk of your traffic because those are gonna be frequently asked questions, things that people really, really are searching for every single day, and we want those views in. After that, you're gonna have other types of videos that's gonna draw in people, right? And so once you have that anchor video, now you're gonna wanna like, direct them to other videos up on your channel, right? And those other videos are gonna help them, like, shift their perspective on things, right? So you're probably gonna say something like, "How ceramics handle heat versus glass," right? Oh my god, perfect.
Yes, please put it in the dishwasher.
There you
We
go.
say that all the time, and everyone's like, "What?"
Yeah, and so you're kinda, like, making people think differently. You're kind of putting your product against, like, other things. If people are saying, like, a paper plate versus ceramic or, like, glass versus ceramic or whatever, right? It's just more ways for people to understand, like, is this gonna be the option for me? What do I need it for? Like, how can I leverage it the most, right? Do I need this or should I buy all of your things and replace it because the other thing that I got is not safe enough or is not sturdy enough or not, you know what I'm saying? So there's all these other
The answer is yes.
See, there you go. And so all these things happen, but you are missing out on these opportunities by not educating them and having them make confident buying decisions because now they have more information. And so those are like you're shifting perspectives and combating objections, just like how I said just now. And then your other type of video, which is like those behind the scenes, even customer testimonials or how customers are using your product. You know what I'm saying? How you're using your product. Just all these kind of like behind the scenes stuff. They all link in together, but the bulk of your views may come from the anchor videos, like those really educational focused ones. But because they're on your channel already and you may even direct them in the video to watch other videos, they're willing to watch other pieces of content that are less educational and more like lifestyle, personality, like showing off like your actual brand.
And what's interesting about that for me is that what I hear in there is we're not obsessing about getting the most views possible on every single video. Each one serves a different purpose. And so, yes, we need to think about searchability and getting people to a video in the first place.
Mhm.
But maybe you have one that kicks off in a big way for you and the next one doesn't. That's okay because you didn't make the second one in the same way with the same purpose.
Correct.
So it helps us kind of, I don't know, release ourselves of the vanity metrics, release ourselves of the like obsession to all of these numbers, even though we are looking at data and that
Yeah.
data is important.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
but
Data
but
is
it makes the data makes sense now instead of just being like, oh well, that one I did the first time got 1,000 views, and now this one has 200. Well, YouTube doesn't work.
you know, it's YouTube is a Netflix, like a free Netflix. You know what I'm saying? People are going to watch multiple videos from you if that first video did it for them. You know what I'm saying? And so what tends to happen is like, at least for me, or like what I like to look at, because I track like how many people download my like freebie from whatever video. I go meta like that. I'm crazy. But what I'll see is like, yes, that video that I did, that how-to video, that tutorial video is getting all of the views, but guess what? It's also suggesting my other videos. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So after someone is watching that one, after they're in my world, it is suggesting other content that I have. And so even if no one is, yes, maybe they have downloaded the freebie from that main video, but I can see up on the back end that after they watch that video, they're watching other videos from me too.
This is a fabulous segue that I'm not going to let pass by about what you're actually going to be talking about in the community for a masterclass, because what's interesting with this, the underlying thing to all of this that we're talking about is not, oh, let's teach people how to use YouTube, but a much bigger subject, even if you don't want to use YouTube, even if you're doing something else on the internet to sell the stuff that you make, which is actually learning how to track all of this frickin' effort you're putting out there to know what's actually working so you can be more efficient with your time,
Oh my gosh, yes.
which I'm so excited about.
This is one of the things I'm so excited to like really talk about that, because a lot of times because we don't track, we end up not really knowing what's working. And then sometimes we make the wrong decision. To
Or there's just so many things we're doing that we're constantly, at least for me,
Gosh.
it's like, well, I know I got this one client from this one way, so I can't give that up. And I got this one other person from this other way, so I can't give that up. And so then you're just throwing spaghetti at the wall constantly. And that's just a waste of perfectly good food.
Yeah, yes. Like, why would we want to do that? It's going to be such a great session, but I want everyone to start thinking about, like, think about every piece of content as an asset. And it's so much more than just what you see surface level. We may not be able to track everything, but we can at least try to look and see trends and see things that we can, look at and like track. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I want to go too deep in that, because it's going to be for your community. I don't know.
This is what they call a tripwire.
Oh my god. Yes.
Full circle.
I love this.
We didn't even plan that, but I'm very proud.
No, like I immediately was like, "Huh, Jamar, shut up." I really was like
No, I'm super excited about it because we just finished a whole quarter digging into SEO. And so much of what you're talking about connects to SEO, whether you're doing it for YouTube, whether you're doing it for your own website, whether you're doing it for your own Etsy. That's an interesting whatever. Your account on Etsy. It connects to all of these things. Maybe some other social media is a little bit harder, but it's not impossible.
Yeah.
So it was one of the top questions that came out of SEO is everyone was like, cool, Rebecca, you taught us SEO. Can you teach Google Analytics now? And I was like, not like I know enough to know that I need it turned on, but I'm not. I am very okay saying what I'm not an expert in. And I was like, but actually, I just started this course and we're using stuff like UTM links. And I'm in my Google Analytics a little bit more. I can't teach anybody it yet, but I'm using it. So
Yeah.
here we are. Here we are. But it's going to be more than I don't want people coming in saying, okay, I'm going to join the community because we're learning Google Analytics. It's a little bit more
Yes.
well-rounded than just that. So if they're expecting that, hold your horses.
Yeah, hold on. Yeah. It's much more like well-rounded and actually even more useful for
Mm,
you, I promise you.
indeed, indeed. Unless you're trying to get one of those little Google authorized you've got a whole different business plan going for
Yeah,
the
yeah.
certification or whatever. No, that's not helpful. We still want to keep our hands in clay most of the time. So
Perfect.
I love it. Well,
Well, it's gonna be for you.
It really, I mean, this is the masterclass that I want for myself. So I'm really glad that the community members asked the question because it's great. But that's always been my kind of like business MO, whether it was photography or whether it's for teaching now, is like, what would I want for myself? Answering that question and providing that is to me the easiest way to build a morally sound business
Mm,
that
yeah,
I can feel comfortable with and confident in and be proud of. Because it's like, yeah, this is what I need. So,
I love that so much.
well, I think that we already answered the questions that were submitted ahead of time from our community members, but I'm going to read this one from Jenna just point blank to make sure if there's something else that comes to mind. Because Jenna was asking in relation to art making, what are the reasons for starting a YouTube channel beyond teaching about the art being made? And I think that's a really important distinction because I do see a lot of makers who are creating content where they are teaching what they're doing, they're explaining what they're doing, but in reality they're not looking to sell education. They're not looking to sell a course or do something like that. They want to sell what they're making to people who want to use it. And so I think I just love this question because it is such a popular amount of content being made, and people maybe are a little disappointed in the results because they're not trying to become an educator.
Yes, that's how you get trapped or tricked into education. Now you're like, "Oh, shoot, I don't wanna be a teacher." So then why are you teaching? You know what I'm saying? So no,
Yeah.
but so I'm gonna answer this even more directly, but Jenna, I hope that, like, this whole episode has been helpful because I'm gonna kinda go into it again of, like, nowhere are you telling, like, you're not telling how you're doing it, you're showing how something is made, not teaching how you made it, okay? And also you are sharing more around how to use the thing that you just poured your energy into, right? So you're answering most of those consumer questions, right? Versus, you know, you're not getting into, "This is how I'm molding the thing," you know what I'm saying? Because you wanna make sure that you keep your hands going like this, you don't have to do that. It's just more so showing the behind the scenes. Really, all we wanna see, take us we're going to the zoo, you know what I'm saying? We're going to the zoo. We don't need to see the zookeeper scooping the poop, you know what I'm saying? I
I
just
was
want
wondering where this metaphor was
I
going.
just wanna see I just want to see the zookeeper feed the giraffe, or just give me the seeds to feed the giraffe. Yeah, or seeds, or whatever giraffes eat. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's all I want to see. The fun stuff. I wanna see the fun stuff. I mean, you can put some, like, non-sexy stuff if you want, but, like, really, it's just, like, the stuff that really excites your customers, and you can test this out with short form video if you want, right? Figure out which parts of your process people are like, "Ooh, I like that," you know?
Mhm,
Test out,
mhm.
right? Before you do, like, a very, like, long form video about you just doing it. That may help, but it kinda just comes back to not teaching, you're showing and you're educating them on the use of the product, right? And you're trying to show them how to use it in whatever ways, and also, you're educating them on why it is the best option for them. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
Yeah? Okay.
absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I love that distinction. I think it's really helpful to think about the difference between, like, why they would be interested
Mhm.
as opposed to how you're doing it,
Yes. Yeah.
right?
Yeah, like, think about them as, like, this is the thing where it's like these TikToks, like, how people leave, like, they don't care about your certification and what you could be the worst potter in the world, and you just sitting down spinning that little thing, they'll watch
Listen,
it.
you're gonna have me out here giving hot takes.
Okay, let me
There are some now, I'm not gonna name names because 'cause I'm not dumb, but there are some bad, and I don't just mean like, "Oh, there's no wrong way to make a pot," or, "Oh, everybody's aesthetic is different," or yeah, okay, sure. But there are some, like, unequivocably shoulda used a word I can pronounce. Whatever. There are just some basic skills that are lacking in some of the most popular videos on the internet, and it is very frustrating. So I would love for the master craftsmen and craftswomen and craftspeople to hear what we're saying and get out there and make, like, actually helpful things. So if you are interested in teaching, then people can learn something and use the techniques you're talking about so that that type of education can get out there instead of it just being, like, biceps and shirtless and cleavage
Well,
that's just like,
put
"Woohoo!"
on
And I'm like,
now. I don't mind that. So
"Yeah,
let me hold on now. Speak for yourself.
if you're
I'm kidding.
that's like, if you wanna be, like, thirst trap influencer, go for it, but you don't need pots for that. Like, come on."
Oh my god. I'm imagining like the firefighter calendar with the cats, but instead it being pots.
Oh, I'll send you some links tomorrow, I got you, don't you
Okay.
worry.
Oh my god, it's so funny. So I wanna hit something else that I bet you is probably not happening when they are teaching, when they're teaching by accident, I guess,
Yeah.
with their videos, is that I don't know if they're saying that their stuff is for sale. Are they saying their stuff is for sale? Like, "You could buy this right now. I just made this. Do you wanna buy it? The link is in the video description." In fact, for the next 10 days, I'm gonna have a code. I know you said that you don't want it to be, like, money, but like, you know what I'm saying, just something, what
Whatever.
whatever you want it to be.
Or even if it's not finished yet, I'm making all of this for the grandma's art fair, whatever the title I'm making all of this in preparation for such and such art fair on this date, at this time, in this location.
Yes.
If you wanna see the finished product,
Come
if you wanna know what glaze color I used,
Mhm. See?
like, come see it. Or, I mean, shoot, even a super easy video. See, now we're rolling. Like, I'm picturing somebody with samples of all the glaze colors that they use. You didn't even have to show making the pot, but just, like, one camera, not edited, very simple, like, "Here's the glazes I'm picking from for the," whatever, Spring Green Art Fair, that's what the next one we have. "Which ones do you wanna see? Which one's your favorite? Put it in the comments because now you've got engagement. Come see what I pick, if yours is the most popular, I'll use that, and another one, come see the mystery one or whatever on this date at this time at this location."
Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it. And then, oh my god, I just had that thought. Mystery pots? Mystery glazed pots? Can you imagine having on your website a mystery one, right? After like all of the glazes, right? You could be like, okay, now I'm gonna put on the site this like mystery box type of thing. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And it's fun because it's like if you don't mind whatever glaze you have, like they'll be happy. You know what I'm saying?
Right, if they know they love the 4 that you already offer.
Yeah, they wouldn't care, right? That's another easy way that you use video to help drive more people to your Etsy store or to your website.
Yep.
I love it.
Uh We could we're starting on brainstorming now, and I know we could just keep going for hours because we have inside of your membership. So I'm gonna stop us there. Do you want to tell everybody where on the internet to find you, or a little bit more about the membership too? If we've already, they don't have to wait for the masterclass. If they're like, yeah, let's go, they can just come straight to you.
You know what? Yeah, the club is always open, honey. If you want to like find me on the internet, y'all, I am at Jamar Diggs everywhere. So on Instagram and YouTube at Jamar Diggs, on Threads as well. If you just want to just get started with YouTube, right? You're just wanting to kind of figure out what to do. I have a free 90-minute quick start guide that will walk you through every single thing that you need to do to get started, right? Setting up the channel, creating your channel description, creating your channel banner, what settings to do all of that stuff, and I have templates for you. So grab that. I'm gonna share it with Rebecca, and it'll be around here. If you want to take a step into my world, the Lilith Club is an amazing place that has all of the resources that you need to launch your channel or revive it in 90 days, along with ongoing support from me so that we can make sure that your channel is actually helping you accomplish your business goals.
If people want to see Jamar critique my videos that you have maybe seen on YouTube, and you've seen them because Jamar fixed them before I posted them, you can catch those replays inside the Low Lift Club too.
Yes, there you go. Well, now after you told me that I looked at one video twice, I'm like, "Damn, what's wrong with me?"
You didn't have to tell anybody that.
Look, I'm a flawed human too, but I make up for it. You know what I'm saying?
Amen. Hey, listen, anybody on the internet streets not even acknowledging that, don't buy what they're selling. Like, let's keep it within the real humans.
Yes, there we go.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. I know we could keep going on forever and ever, so I'm just gonna stop myself now. And we'll chat more in the club and in the communities.
Yay, thank you so much for having me.
I hope this conversation with Jamar has you thinking differently about what content creation could look like for your business. If you've been feeling like you're throwing spaghetti at the wall with all of your marketing efforts, you are definitely not alone. So many of us are posting on Instagram, sending emails, updating websites, and showing up at markets without really knowing which of those things are bringing in actual customers. It's okay to admit that you don't always know what's working. It's okay to feel overwhelmed by all of the different platforms and the strategies that people tell you you should be doing. I for sure feel that overwhelm all of the time. And it's absolutely okay to want a more strategic, less exhausting approach to getting your work in front of the right people. Whether you decide to try YouTube or stick with the platforms you're already using, the real takeaway here is about creating educated buyers who understand your value before they even see your prices. Maybe that looks like some behind the scenes videos showing your glazing process. Maybe it's demonstrating different ways to use your ceramics. Or maybe it's simply being more intentional about connecting your work to the values and the lifestyle your ideal customers already have or dream about. Of course, if you want to dig deeper into actually measuring what's working in your business, Jamar will be joining us inside of the community on September 23rd for his masterclass, How to Track What Matters Online. Because let's be honest, most of us don't really know what's growing our business and wind up spending so much time, energy, and resources on just all of the things. And then, eventually, burning ourselves out. Instead of getting really strategic about the few things that move the needle for ourselves uniquely. Jamar's masterclass will help you clearly measure your marketing efforts so that you can make better decisions about where to focus your time and energy. You can learn more about the community membership and join us for this masterclass at makersplaybook.com/community. The masterclass is included with your membership, which is pretty darn cheap, relatively speaking, if you take into consideration the value of the 6 other masterclasses already in there waiting for you. So if you do a quick little very simple math when you're checking out the details at makersplaybook.com, I think you'll see what a steal it is, even if you have some conversion rates. Now, that's all before, obviously, you meet all the amazing fellow makers inside of there. But we know that I could keep rambling on forever about how much I love our virtual neighborhood, or Clayborhood, as we've come to call it. So I will stop myself here. But seriously, you know it's my favorite place on the internet. Until next time, my friends, go get back to making your dreams a reality. Because together, we've got this. Audio post-production of this podcast is made possible by help from Christy Kotzvan, with promotional material assistance from Queenie Maliki. The Maker's Playbook podcast is recorded on the original homelands of the Potawatomi, Ho-Chunk, and Menominee people, where the people of Wisconsin's sovereign Anishinaabe, Ho-Chunk, Menominee, Oneida, and Mohican nations remain present.
This podcast is a production of the Brickyard Network. To find out more about our lineup of ceramic podcasts, visit brickyardnetwork.org.